Hello. It has been quite some time since I have done any streams or videos. I basically have been doing nothing but work. I work all the time and trying to make something of my life. But I decided to do this stream today because I'm noticing family and friends are just becoming increasingly far left. I don't mean just a little bit. I mean, we're talking like they're saying crazy, like just communist things, like actual communism. One of the mottos of this channel has always been I'm the centrist voice of reason in a time of hyper-partisan lunacy. That really means a lot now these days in 2024. To say that my politics haven't changed over time is not being truthful. It definitely has, but I have not gone to one extreme or the other. I'm staying in the same kind of bubble that I've always been in. And my problem right now is in talking with friends and family, I'm just noticing a constant like ramping up. It just keeps ratcheting up higher and higher and higher to more extreme degrees. It's disturbing. It's probably going on 6 years now that I started talking about the possibility of America going through a second civil war because I truly believe that. I think that all the political conditions are ripe for an event like that. And now, with the events where Democrats, leftists, are trying to take the life of former President Trump, it's kind of obvious what's happening at this point. Everything that I have tried to accomplish with this channel and with journalism and with social commentary, political commentary, has been the same. It has never changed. It's always been the same thing. I wanted to document the political comings and goings of America through my eyes. That's what the goal of this channel was. And seeing so many of my close friends and family turning to these extremes now is just it's depressing. It's one of the reasons why I don't do what I do anymore. I used to do these videos constantly, these streams constantly every day. I would do them for years. I have thousands of videos in my archive that I've taken out from public and made them private because but there's other reasons for that. YouTube, censorship, all that. But my point is they're changing. I am not. I am basically the same person. The only difference now is that I'm getting older and I'm learning more and I'm starting to understand the nuances of the world. I'm 38 years old and I've now come to a place where I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm comfortable with just who I am. I'm mastering my profession. I'm growing in every sense of every positive sense of the word. But the nation around me is crumbling, and it's only one political faction who's causing this. This idea that there used to be this both sides kind of comments. Both sides are at play here. Everyone needs to calm down. And then I think recently, Whoopi Goldberg on The View said, no, it's not both sides. It's only one side. And I agree. It is one side. It is the left. It is the Democrats. They are the ones who are doing the most damage to this country. Republicans are not going out into the street killing people. They're not rioting. They're not looting. They're not doing these organized crime flash mobs where they're breaking into Louis Vuitton and all these other stores all throughout the country and just extracting wealth. Republicans aren't doing that. Those are Democrats. That's Democrats. Democrats are supporting that behavior. So pretending like, it's both sides, that was always false. And I was one of those people, with my non-existent audience trying to push back against that and say, no, that's not true. It's not even close to true. It's like one Republican versus 9 Democrats. It's not even close. Okay. And as time has progressed, things have gotten even more worse. The economy is basically in a Great Depression at this point. Nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to talk about it. The government is lying about literally everything at this point. And every single day, I wake up and I pick up a phone. I'm looking at my news feeds, and it's the same thing. It's just getting worse. And a lot of times, I have these family and friends who, these leftists, the Democrats, they say that I'm blinded because I'm only watching one side. And I'm like, what the F are you talking about, dude? That's not true. I read articles and watch news programs or segments from CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, Fox News. I mean, you could just pretty much everything. BBC. I'm consuming news from everyone, from everywhere. And, I have family and friends sending me clicks, sending me links to hyper-partisan YouTube videos where someone super biased is trying to, falsely, frame news stories as if that's like proof of their worldview. And I'm like, this is what I've been talking about for a very long time. It's you who is ideologically captured. And make no mistake, I have my political views, I have my political opinions, and I get, my worldview shapes or shifts and changes just like anyone else's will, based on the information that's being, provided to me. And the same thing keeps happening. They say that I'm extreme, that I've changed, that I'm crazy, but I'm watching, like, I'm looking at the actual news. I'm looking at ABC, I'm looking at CBS, I'm looking at CNN, I'm looking at all these other news outlets, and they're sending me links to hyper-partisan sources. I'm getting Reddit links now from communist subreddits. I'm like, so you think I'm far right or something like that, but you're literally sending me communist propaganda. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to, how I'm supposed to respond to this stuff. And I've been getting more aggressive with my responses because I love these people. These are my family and friends. I care about these people. And when they're ideologically captured, they're stuck in this bubble matrix, whatever you want to call it, this false reality. We're in like these divergent universes now, these divergent realities, where there is a tangible real world universe And then there are these like different pocket universes that are not accurate. The things that they believe are not accurate. And it's fascinating to me because they keep saying the same things over and over again as if it is whatever side I'm on, the side of truth and reality, that we're the ones that are crazy and we're delusional and we're not, we don't understand what's really happening, and it's quite the opposite. What they're doing, what they're experiencing is cognitive dissonance. They are projecting their insecurities and their issues and saying everyone else is crazy, when in fact it's quite the opposite. I don't know how else to prepare anyone for this. I knew this kind of stuff would start happening. It's going to get worse, and it's going to get to the point where family members are going to separate from me. They're going to say that they have no interest in talking to me anymore. I've had friends already disconnect. And it's fascinating to me because I've always maintained basically the same positions. I really haven't changed that much since high school. I've only kind of refined things. I've gotten things a little bit more crisp and clean, and I've gotten more knowledgeable on how I articulate certain points. And I have friends and family members now literally quoting communist manifesto crap. And they have no clue. They have no idea that that's what they're doing, that's what they're espousing. And the political candidates and figures that they support are literally taking ideologies and policies straight out of like the communist playbooks. It's fascinating. It really is. It's truly fascinating to see this happen before my eyes, because predicting something in your head is one thing, but seeing it happen and seeing these things play out is a totally different story. It is fascinating. It's terrifying too, because I know where this goes. It's going to keep getting worse. We're going to keep seeing this division and this separation of friends and families and political factions, and it's biblical. That's the only other way I can really describe it, that this is becoming biblical. This is not something that is mundane. I would argue that this has always been a spiritual battle, and now we're just in that state of exposing the truth. We're ripping off band-aids, and the veil is coming up, and we need to talk about it. We need to legitimately talk about this stuff. So, again, for the sprinkling of people who might actually look at this and might actually see this stream or the video playback afterwards, I just want you to know that I do hope the best for you and yours, for your family and friends, and for your country, even if you're not American. I do hope the best for everybody. But the reality of it is, we are all not the same. We're not all on the same side. We have violent, evil people on this planet who want to do you harm. And that's why you need to defend yourself in all sense of the word. And when we're facing these kind of spiritual battles where, we have, I don't know how else to describe this, because it's beyond just politics at this point. You have tens of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people who are brainwashed to where they think that clown orange guy is worse than Hitler, is worse than Satan. And that's like a joke, right? It's a running joke. Like people who are, I don't know, centrist or awake are kind of just like making fun of this whole situation. But I hear leftists and Democrats, they talk like that. And it's like, he's a billionaire who your faction doesn't like. The elitist establishment faction doesn't like, because he was trying to be a people's champion. Okay. He's a clown, a buffoon. He's a Bogart. He is a narcissist. But all these other things that they've accused this man of, it's fascinating to me, because again, it's like they're shining a mirror at themselves. Everything they're accusing this man of, they have already done tenfold, fivefold, whatever. And now we're at this point where they're trying to end the life of this man twice, because they've worked each other up. The cult, they've worked each other up to this point where they think this man is some existential threat to democracy, to the very fabric of reality, or so. Like they think he is the second coming of Satan, like the Antichrist or something. He's just a man, he's just a man. And I think that this ideological capture has gotten to the point, to the extreme even, where I don't know how you pull people out of that level of psychosis. I have no clue, because we've had these issues really ever since it was the dawn of when social media became a thing, is when this really got bad. And it's obvious it's intentional. It's obvious it's intentional. The Facebooks and Twitter before Elon Musk, they were intentionally siloing people off and intentionally ripping, dividing people, so that they would get these two divergent outcomes. You'd have these two hyper-polarized political factions. It's to the point now, this extreme, where you have people who are non-political talking about politics and everything. If you support this particular YouTuber, this streamer, then you're in this political faction. If you support this this musician, then you support that political faction. It's insane. It's insane that we've gotten this far. And now we're like, so what's the end result of this? Because they're claiming that the orange guy is going to end democracy. And they keep repeating this word, democracy, democracy, democracy. He's a threat to democracy. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you, but America is not a democracy. It never was a democracy. America is a constitutional republic. There is a massive difference. But Democrats are, despite them being, evil and in the things that they do, they're not stupid. They know when they keep repeating our democracy, they're not talking about the constitutional republic that America is supposed to be. They're talking about this new creation that they're trying to pull in. They're trying to destroy the Supreme Court. They're trying to destroy the representational system that we have. We don't have a direct democracy for a reason. They're trying to destroy everything. They're trying to, buy votes. They're trying to get these people in through, the unfettered mass immigration. I mean, it's very obvious. It's very obvious when people bring up hey, don't you think it's kind of strange that tens of millions of undocumented migrants are being allowed into the country? And we say, hey, when they're getting driver's license and stuff in a lot of these states, they automatically get signed up to vote. Hey, maybe we should put some protections in place to try to prevent that. And you're, oh, it's already illegal for them to vote. It's like, okay, yes, I understand it's illegal for them to vote. So now let's try to make it so that they can't vote, right? Let's put some protections in place. So, they have to show ID or whatever, and something that proves that they're legally allowed to vote. What are you talking about? That's crazy. It's already illegal. But I don't. What are you doing? It's you're just trying to stop people from voting. It's like, come on, man. We're not stupid. We know what you're doing. You're pretending like it's just frustrating. I'm exhausted. I am exhausted because it's very obvious what these people are doing. They're just lying. They're not being honest. They're lying to you. They're lying to everyone about everything. And roughly half the country believes them. That's the scary, sad part. Is half the country believes this. And it's not to say that Republicans or the other side is perfect either. They're not. I mean, there's all kinds of issues with everybody. Okay, but it's very clear that one side is worse than the other. I mean, for God's sakes, you have you had Tulsi Gabbard, a Democrat, a '90s style Democrat, endorse Donald Trump. You had RFK Jr., a Democrat, endorse Donald Trump. Elon Musk, clearly a Democrat, like '90s style Democrat, leftist, environmentalist, all this stuff, endorsing Trump. At what point do people actually look at these policies of these different factions and candidates and say, hey, maybe something's not quite right here? One side is uniting people together. It's uniting people's candidates together. People that were very popular, uniting people together. It's invigorating the youth vote. People are excited to support these candidates. Versus the other side, the Democrat side, where people are not excited, enthusiastic at all. In fact, the only thing they're campaigning on, the Democrats are campaigning on, is anti-Trump. Okay, I don't care about Trump. Let's stop talking about Trump. Let's talk about what your political stances are. Tell me how you're going to fix America. Tell me how you're going to keep Americans safe. Tell me what your plan for the future is. They're not doing that. The entire platform of the Democrats is Trump is Hitler, Trump is a Nazi, Trump is, going to destroy the democracy and all this stuff. It's like, okay, he had 4 years to do that and nothing happened. In fact, it was the opposite. During those 4 years, you and your political faction tried every possible thing you could to stop this man and hem this man up from accomplishing anything, up until the point now that he hasn't been in office for 3.5 years. Now you're taking literal shots at him to take him out because you're so frightened of what he is capable of doing. And what I'm really interested in is he had 4 years to do all these big scary things that you all were talking about and didn't do not one. Now that he's back on the up and up and has the potential of coming back into the White House for 4 years, you think he's going to become a king or a dictator for life. The man is almost 80 years old. He's on his way out. It's delusional. Okay, what you're talking about is delusional. The most obvious part too, that almost nobody wants to talk about, The most obvious part about all of this is that the really, really, really smart people know. They know that it doesn't matter who wins the presidency. That's a joke. It's not really real. On paper, the power and the authority is there, but we already saw what happened when Trump was in office. When he gave direct orders to the military and to members of his cabinet, things were ignored. They disobeyed direct orders from the sitting president. And you think that the presidency is really that powerful? There are so many different powers behind the scenes, and y'all are just, most of my audience, what's left of them. I mean, on paper, it says I have almost 2,000 subscribers, but then, YouTube clearly doesn't show my feed to anybody. I think there's only a couple people actively watching, and I'm seeing it spike up and down. And I'll probably get maybe 30 views in total for this stream, even with replays, if that. The few people that are watching, y'all are good. We're all on the same page. That's why, you've come into my world over the years. And we kind of all know what's going on. So I want to say almost a month ago, I put out on Twitter, and I said that I wasn't going to vote. And at the time I meant it, and I still do. I'm on the fence again now. I really am. I don't know. I don't know how I want to proceed. On one hand, I have Trump, who is a hot mess, an old hot mess. So much baggage. But they're trying to kill him. They're trying to take him out. So that's piqued my interest. Okay, so he's so dangerous that he can't live. So I want to hear what he has to say then. Tell me, what is he saying? He's not saying much. There's not a whole lot upstairs. And then the other option is Kamala Harris, the cackling fiend. I'm just like, guys, come on. This is not real life. Like you expect me to vote for these people. Can we have somebody who's actually intelligent? Somebody who's deserving of this authority and title. It's a show. That's the thing. It's all a show. It's not real. There is this illusion. Now, sure, like I said, the presidency, it does have some marginal power. You do and can do some things, but ultimately it's those behind the scenes players, the power players, the ones that are the leaders of finance and industry. Those people are the ones in charge. Then you have intelligence agencies. They all have their different, areas of expertise and power, and those things change over time, just like anything else. But it's like, do I really need to vote? I kind of feel like whatever is going to happen is going to happen with or without my input. Then factor in, do you actually know what voting is? It's kind of why I'm starting to not support this idea of republics and constitutions and democracies. Constitutions are fine, but the idea of voting is that you are consenting to be governed. There's this really fantastic YouTube video that if you go in my channel, it should be, I shared it. So if you go to the community tab, you'll be able to see that I shared it. It's Truth Stream Media, and they break down what the etymology of the word voting or vote, and they just break it down. There's a almost spiritual aspect to it as well. You're basically praying and votive. You're doing a devotion to this system, and that's the thing is I've never truly supported the system that I was born into. But now I'm at this point too. It's just like, I'm going to vote, and then what's going to happen? Nothing. My entire life, I have wanted a specific type of government and system, and most of my generation we've all been on the same basic path before this crazy psychotic political division stuff happened. The Ron Paul era, back in MySpace and Facebook in the early days, we were all, basically on the same side. I had Democrats and Republicans and centrists and libertarians. We're all hanging out in the same like social circles, and we basically agreed that we need to get money out of politics. All these endless wars are bad. Hey, maybe we should stop mistreating people around the world. Just basic stuff. Hey, maybe we should be spending our money here at home on Americans, for Americans. Basic stuff. We all agreed on that. And then this weird deviation started with the social media. They started splitting people, siloing them. They started manipulating the algorithms to where, okay, well, this person's a Democrat, this person's a Republican, this one's a libertarian. We're only going to show them that content. And then we just keep feeding it. It's a feedback loop, making it more and more extreme, to the point where now I have friends and family members literally sending me communist ideology and propaganda, like actual communist propaganda. It's shocking to me. And they say I'm extreme. Like, dude, I'm watching all of the news. I'm looking at all of it. I look at CNN, ABC, MSNBC, Fox News. I look at some of the more traditional newspapers, Washington Post, New York Times. I read all of that and look at all of that. And you're sending me communist propaganda now. I'm just like, I don't like, what do you want me to, how do you want me to respond to this? It's shocking. And that's ideological capture. And people don't understand they're in these bubbles, these filter bubbles, and these, these cult like engagements. It's scary. And I don't have any answers for that. I can't tell people, well, these are the steps you do to pull people out of it. All I could say is I've been predicting this for a long time now. Whether or not people think that makes me smart or something, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm not in any position to change the outcome. All that means for me is I am able to not be surprised so much by everything that's happening. And for what I see, for what it's worth, I think it's going to keep getting worse. It absolutely will keep getting worse. It's not going to get better. There's no reason for it to get better. There's nothing stopping us right now, stopping this inevitable train wreck of a situation. So I guess for me, when I do these streams and videos at this point, I'm just kind of venting, because nothing I say is going to affect the outcome. It's just not. I may have inspired a couple of people here and there to better prepare themselves for the inevitable outcomes. Hopefully people started, taking things seriously, and they, stocked up on ammunition. They got, food and water supplies, maybe got their finances in order. They have a safe house, or, if you have the money for all that stuff, just basically prepare, if not materially or like actually try to prepare with action, mentally prepare. For some people, they can make all these preparations, and then, let's say another civil war happens or a collapse or something, and you're just stuck out in the middle of a chaotic situation. You're just stuck, and all your preparations were pointless for you. That's not going to be everyone, obviously. Some people will be able to make it, and those preparations will be, very useful for them. And for some people, they don't prepare at all, and then they just happen to luck out, and things are provided for them as they go. That's just the way of the universe. But ultimately, I think we as a country absolutely can get through this. We can pull together and stop the nonsense, stop all this political division and hatred. We can. We just are just choosing not to. We choose not to. We have abandoned all sense of just common sense and logic and reason, and it's pure emotional politics. It is bread and circuses. It is classic division tactics. We have let ourselves be ideologically captured. We got lazy, and we let the government become more powerful than the people. That was our first mistake, and that's been taking place over hundreds of years. We let that happen, and it is what it is. It is what it is. So I'm going to leave you all with that. As always, if you have anything you would want to say, please post a comment. I'm going to go see if I could do something useful with my evening and do some household chores, or maybe do some work and get a head start on Monday. What else can I do? So that's all I have right now, and thank you so much for watching.